Yo, what is up guys? Welcome to another video on my channel. In this one we will be quickly going over the basics of Python and how to get started with it and how do you create your first application. Quickly about Python. It's very versatile programming language, mostly known for its simplicity and readability. It aims to allow users and developers, developers, to express concepts that are pretty complicated in a simple few lines of code. Python also supports multiple programming paradigms like, for example, procedural programming, object-oriented programming, and functional programming. But those concepts you'll learn later on in your journey, so for now let's just leave it as it is. And I also want to add that Python is really widely used in web development, data analysis, artificial intelligence, and automation. So you can really get a job in multiple areas of coding. So yeah, I think it's great. So how do you get actually started with it? Let's just create a new browser window and go search for Python 3 download. First link is here. Click download, download the exe installer and just install the program. Next, after that you want to create a folder on your desktop and call it, I don't know, new Python application, and open it with code. So in Visual Studio Code you want to create a new file, call it main.py, and the .py specifies that the code that is there or the contents of that file are actually written in Python and it can be compiled to an executable. So let's go over the basic data types that you can have in Python. So as you can see, this is the name of the variable and this is its value. So we can have a few different data types. For example, a string, an integer, a float, a boolean, which can either be true or false, written like this, with a big letter at the front. And we can also have lists, or also known as arrays. The array elements can be what you want, so they can also be arrays, they can be booleans, floats, integers, strings, and also objects, which are the next data type. So an object is like, let's say, a house. A house has a lot of different things in it. It has rooms, it has people that live in it, it has a lot of items like TV, computer, bed, etc., etc. So to describe a house in the notation of Python, we can have it like this. We have a state in which the house is in, a city, an address, bathrooms, and how many does it have, and bedrooms. So now that you understand the basic data types, let's go over the logic. So for the logic, we can check, let's say, check if the age of Alice is more than 18. So we check if person info, because we want to access the person info object, and we specify the variable inside the person info, which is age here, and we check if it's greater than 18, and if it is, then we print Alice is an adult and can go to the party. And else, if she isn't 18 or is younger than 18, then we print Alice is not an adult and can't go to the party. Now let's see if it works. We will run it by typing py space and the name of our file, which is main.py. And as you can see, the age of Alice is 30, and it did pass the check and printed out Alice is an adult and can go to the party. Another thing that I forgot to mention is checking other types of variables. Like, for example, if you want to check if the height is greater than 2, for example, then we also can do it like this. If height is greater than 2, then we print height is greater than 2. For the booleans, we have a different kind of syntax. So we write if is student, and then we print if it is a student, then we print is student, and else we can print is not a student. So for booleans we do it like this, and maybe for the string type also, if name is equal to John, print name is John, or else print name is not John. So that's it for the other types of variables. So now let's, instead of writing it in the main path of the file, let's define a separate function which will check if Alice is an adult, and we will paste the logic here. And as you can see, the notation is very, very important. So if I do it like this, it will give me an error because the tabs are very important in defining functions. After creating a function below, you need to have one tab and then the logic here and the other tabs if you do if and else's. So let's now call this function so the main program actually runs it, and we run it by just writing its name and then parentheses. So if we run it again, we still have the same output because we called this function here, and after the check it prints out either of these. So now let's define another function. Is there an apple? So as you can see, we can also pass variables into functions so that they can be accessed inside the function itself. So in this function we check if the apple is in the fruits, which is a list of foods, so apple, banana and orange. And this function will check if an apple is in fruits, and if it is, then it prints out that there is an apple in the list, and else there is no apple in the list. So now if we run this project, it doesn't do anything because we didn't call the function. So let's call the function is there an apple, and we pass the fruits object, which is here. And if we now run it, then it says that there is an apple in the list. Okay, so now let's write a function that checks if a specific item is inside the fruits array. So we will do it by defining a function called check item inside the list, and we will have to pass an item which we want to search for, and we will search in fruits, so we don't actually have to give it inside the function because it's accessible publicly. And we check if the item, instead of writing apple, we will check if the item that we pass in, so the item, is it in fruits, and if it is, that there is, let's now do it like that, plus is here, and we do item. Oh, sorry, we need to change it to those. Okay, and now let's see if the Copilot gets it. Yeah, he does. Okay, so now instead of calling the is there an apple, we will call the check item inside the list, and let's say, for example, watermelon. And if we run it, then it should say that there is no watermelon in the list, and as you can see, there is none. But if we pass in a banana, for example, a banana, then it will say that there is a banana in the list. So with that in mind, I think that you can actually create a very, very wide range of applications with just this information. And if you want to learn anything else, then you can join our community on Discord, and we will walk you through many of the advanced concepts in Python and many other languages as well. So if you like that video, make sure to subscribe and smash the like button, and see you in the next one. Bye.